Hello, fifth grade. Today is Wednesday, December 9th. Today in class, our one goal was to work on a Google slideshow, and we did that by taking the information that we wrote out yesterday. So yesterday in class, I had you use the articles that you had read about natural disasters to see if you could come up with answers to these general questions. Now, if you had an article that didn't answer all of these questions, you did not have to research it and look for them elsewhere. If you did, that's great. You can use the information, but if you have any questions that you weren't able to answer, we're just not going to include them in the slideshow. Now, you may be wondering, why on earth are we doing a slideshow? I already know how. Well, as it turns out, I've learned from my mistakes. Let's see, it's this year's 7th grade has gone over to the junior high, and I've heard that they've had to redo some of their work as far as slideshows. Those kids have been making their slideshows since 4th grade, but I never stopped to make sure they were all doing it correctly, and I wish I would have. So I'm going to start doing it right with you guys. First of all, everybody who has done slideshows, I applaud you for doing something that you weren't. You just jumped in and you did a really great job on all of those. Today I taught how to make sure you're doing them correctly. And let's start with what it takes to be correct. Of course, now the one I want isn't pulled up. Dang it. I want to open. Let's see. And if I look in here, I'm doing a video. So I'll be done in a few. Okay. Let's see. There's my Merry Christmas. This one has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I want to talk to you just really quickly about what should actually be on the slide. And so in our lesson today, I talked to the kids about the fact that a slideshow presentation is meant to be something that you are speaking. It's a tool in a speech. So it's really important that we're not looking up at the screen while we are talking, while we're speaking to the class. And so we want to start off with a title slide. And I had made this one about Christmas, I guess. So it just says Merry Christmas for my title. And then I put in by Candy Shappett. So your first page should always be the title of whatever it is that you want to present to people along with your name. Now as I go through, my present button, and I click to the next slide, you'll see that all I have on this slide besides a background is I included a picture of one of the things on my list. I have a title for the slide so that anybody who jumps into my slideshow late, they're going to know that I'm talking. You can tell by my outline of my slide that it has something to do with Christmas, and I know that this slide is specifically about food. Then you'll notice that over here I have a list of all my favorite foods. So if I was presenting and I click to this slide next, I would start out by saying, hi everybody, today I'm going to talk to you about Christmas. My first and most important, most favorite part of Christmas is the food. I love pie. My favorite pie is pumpkin pie. I like it because it's so soft and squishy, and you get to put Cool Whip on it, which makes it even yummier. I also love mashed potatoes, but don't put any gravy on mine. I only eat mine with butter and salt. And then monkey bread and eggnog are two really special things that I only ever get at Christmas. And we get those when we go to my great, great, great dear Aunt Mildred's house. Yeah, I just made her up. Anyway, you can see that I said a whole bunch of things about these few words I listed. Your slide should only have a few words with a with bullets to, sorry, I'm having trouble talking. It's a bulleted list that has the main points that you want to touch on, and it also doesn't, it's not written in a complete sentence. It certainly is not a paragraph. These should not have any punctuation marks unless maybe you need to list a few things on one line. You might have some commas then, but that is very basic. You want to speak to your class. You might turn and glance at your slideshow to make sure you're hitting all of your main points, but you already know about the pie. You already know what you want to say about your mashed potatoes. So basically, the only thing that's up on the screen is some kind of picture for your audience to look at, and then a list so that they can kind of see where you're going next as you're talking. And then that's really the only slides I did for this. I could have had a slide about my favorite, I don't know, I could title it songs. And this slide is all about all my favorite songs, and obviously since I have a reindeer on there, I could say Rudolph is my favorite. Let's see, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. What's another good Christmas song? Noel, it's short, and we'll say Joy to the World. Okay, now right now I have those all centered, but I don't have them bulleted. So I can either click up here and number my list so it looks like that. I look at that and I say that looks kind of wonky with that little one in the middle, so I don't like it. So I'll re-highlight them and I'll say, let's align that to the left. Oh yeah, that's going to look better. But I really like, kind of bullets do I want to use this time? So if I just click on the bullets, it'll do the regular little circle ones. If I want to pick out my bullets, because I really like those squares, I could do that one. And I also need to look at the size of my text. You want to make sure that the title of your slide, the heading, is big. You can choose to put it off to the side. You can drag these text boxes wherever you want. You can make them bigger. You can click, these tools up here are for the border. So if I want songs to have a border and I want it to be really fat, I'll click 16, but ooh, that black doesn't look good. So I want to change it to border color. Let's make it white. Oh yes, that's much better. And oh, I want the inside of it to be red and pretty. There I go. Oh, but now this little picture's there. So you can drag things around and adjust them however you want. You need to remember though that what you are putting up on the screen should be easy for the people watching your presentation to read. And I made that so big it took 2 lines, so I'll just drag it, make it a little bigger. And there you go. You could say that that's how I want it. So basically, the things you need to know about a PowerPoint, which you guys don't have PowerPoint on your Chromebooks, but it's pretty much the same as a slideshow on Google Slides, that they are a tool to help you speak to people. It's a way to have graphics up on the screen, and it's a way to help illustrate your point and help keep your listeners organized so they know what you're going to be talking about just by looking at the slide. They don't need to know everything you're going to say, because then why even have you there? They could simply read it. You could just print it out like a book. So you can see that there are some speaker notes down here. I put some in on this food one. I pretended like I was putting some in. I could write out everything I wanted to say about pie, mashed potatoes, and monkey bread, and eggnog. I could write out a paragraph for myself. Then when I go to present this, nobody else can see it. Only I can see it. Because when I present, it only shows my slide. So that's one thing to think about. When you present at school, we don't have dongles for the Chromebooks, so your Chromebooks are never going to be hooked up to the projector. But So if you always share to me, you would always be able to have your Chromebook in your hands and use that as your notes. So you remember all the things you want to say, because I know sometimes it is nerve-wracking to only put a few words when you know you have a lot you want to say about it. So that's something to think about. The other thing I showed the students today was we talked about that you can change the text color. The bullets are over here, and you can number. You can center things or align them to the left or align them to the right. Maybe that's opposite to you guys on the screen, camera screen. Look like I just went opposite. And then last but not least, I'm going to open a new one here so you can see what it looks like. So you'll go to your waffle. I'll just show you from the get-go. Okay, so your page pulls up, you go over to your waffle, and you click on slides. And you'll click blank. And you have the choice to have yours be blank, or, let me get this thing out of the way, you have themes, and these will actually make all your slides look similar. So this is my title slide. Excuse me. I can add more slides by clicking this plus button over here, and so I have a green line in the middle here, and then it makes all these other ones have a little green line at the bottom. If I don't like that one, I could do this, but basically it kind of tries to tie in your title slide to all the rest of them. So this one's all blue on the title, but it has a little bit of blue and pink. So you can choose that if you want to. Some of them are all dark. Yeah. So it would make them all have this background. Now, say I don't want that. Go back to blank. So let's say that mine is, my article had to do with the Ring of Fire. So I could, and I don't like any of these themes, but I want to have something cool for my background of this slide. So I can click Insert, Image, search the web, and let's see, maybe I could put Ring of Fire. I wonder if it'll give me a cool map. Ooh, it does. So I click on the map, I tell it, yeah, insert that. Maybe. Doesn't seem to be doing it. There it comes. And it's kind of bigger than my slide, so I can decide how big I want it. And you'll notice it's covering up my text boxes back there. I can either create new text boxes, I can make this thing smaller if I want to. There's also somewhere, it's hard to see when my computer screen, slide, arrange. I can arrange the order, and I can send this to the back, which brings this thing to the front. And I could have my title on here, and now you can actually read it. So you can click arrange to make it so your text boxes pop up to the front. Let's see. Maybe on my next one, I want my background to be, I want my background to be volcano. So I'll look up a volcano and I'll say, ooh, yeah, that looks good. I can just drag it over if I want to, or I can tell it to insert it. And then say I cover up all those text boxes, so I need to insert a new one. So I just go over to insert, except for not image this time. I'm just going to click text box, and I want my title to be, I don't know, dangerous, maybe just danger. And then I say, whoa, that's way too small, and I can't see it. If I can't see it, Mrs. Shappa can't see it. So I'm going to change the color, so I can double click it to highlight it, and then I'll change the text color to white. Yes. And then I make it bigger. And then maybe down here, I'll insert another text box where I can have my bulleted lists that I want to tell you all about how dangerous they are. So those are some choices you have.